Hey, what's up, guys? So I decided that I want to start doing my weekly recaps again. I think that it's very good for me to go back and review my trades. I think that it will also be very beneficial to people that are in my community, not in my community, and I don't know, I think it's just me an all around good idea. So I'm gonna start it up again. I'm going to start off with, I believe this is the first trade that I started doing this week. So I also got my Thinkorswim up so that I can do that. So there might be pauses in the video, but I'm just trying to make it as quick as possible. So I'm going to pause this really quick and go back to the third to show you what I was looking at on SOPA. Alright, so here's SOPA. This is kind of how I go about teaching in my room. That there's going to be ceilings and floors, right? And it's all however you look at the stock, right? So for me, this is how I particularly see the ceiling. It had here, but then it broke through. I started finding another ceiling, so obviously this is up a little bit. I'd lower it down to here, but that's basically the ceiling. I'm looking for it to reject that level, and that's the first level that I'd be looking for. My playbook, that is a play right there, and I would cover half, and then my other stop would be break even. Okay, whatever. Then this thing goes up and it breaks over this level. Unless there's a daily level or a whole or half dollar number or something to tell me that this is worth rejecting, I'm not trading right there. I would trade right here because it's a lower high on much lower volume. I would be looking to take this. But how I teach my students is you do the first time and the second time, but you do not do a third time. Why? Because it in my experience, third time just does not work very well. So this is how I should have traded it. I was also trading pre-market. I don't remember. I believe I traded really, really low. So we're going to go back to SOPA. So yeah, I did trade really low, and I don't like the fact that I'm trading, right at the pop at 7. This is also a thing that, I'll take a trade at my house, and then I go to work. I'm not trading full time anymore. I am working a full time job. I trade on a laptop. I have a mobile hotspot, and that's how I do my trading personally. But what I've been noticing over the last month or so is I've had some really good winners where I take a trade and I let it fade. But the difference is these lines are my targets. So the white line is my first target, yellow line is my second target. I'll have another target somewhere in here, and then this is my final target. I don't want all of my targets bunched up. For me, that's an indication that it's going to squeeze, which is what this is. A squeeze is it squeezes all the shorts and it makes the price go higher, right? Which is exactly what it did. So this really is unnecessary. This is not at a whole or half dollar number. So unless there was a daily level there, this is also a unnecessary trade. This is what I call FOMO, fear of missing out, because if I wanted to short sell, I need to sell into strength, right? You want to buy low, you want to sell high. So since I'm a short seller in small caps, I want to sell as close as I can to the top because that's my risk. The closer I get to the ceiling and knowing that I'm going to be wrong, the more size I can use. And so this is a bullshit trade. And then I instantly got back in, which is another one of my problems, is I have no freaking patience. Then I have a small cut. I don't remember how much size I was in on this, but I can tell you right now that this is open. I should not be shorting this low because I have certain rules, and this is way too close to my first target. It's not worth my mental my mental state to even trade this. This would have been a solid trade, but it happened in seconds. I must have missed it. It went down to my first target. That is from say 240 to 210. That's worth my time. 30 cent move in a couple minutes. That's worth my time. Now shortening down here and then son of a bitch. Sorry. And then getting squeezed out. Jeez. Getting squeezed out up here and then re-shortened again. That's horrible management. This for me shows that I'm thinking about the money, and I'll get into that here in a second. So this was just a horrible trade, right? The only place I should have been even looking to trade is right here, and then right there. If this thing breaks over this high, I should have been looking for $3. Didn't quite get there. It starts making what I view as like, well, it's kind of like a little bit lower. It's kind of a distribution pattern. Take it here or take it here. Risking just over here because there's all this huge volume over here, right? All the volume is right here. This has a little, afternoon pop, but doesn't have any real volume, and it breaks over. It's got volume divergence. In my opinion, that's running stops, and it's worth it to take a trade, risking that high, and then for a potential fill. I mean, you get in here at 280, your final cover's down here at 220. That's a very good trade, and that's worth the money, right? So that's my first trade on SOPA. So shitty trade. Go off to the next one. HCWB. So this is a lower price stock. I can tell you right now that I was in with much bigger size because there isn't a lot of range. The problem is, if you can't tell, I am having just crazy FOMO. I'm just thinking about the money. I'm not being a good trader, which is a huge problem for beginner traders, and something I thought that I was way over. But like I said, I'll get to that here in a second. So for me, this has got a high, a lower high, fake breakout. It's got this little curl. Got a bigger, deeper curl. For me, once again, if you start looking at how I teach, that's a ceiling. That's a floor. That's a floor. Even this little tiny spot right here is, in my personal opinion, a floor. So it's got it's got a low, a higher low, and a higher low. It doesn't have a lot of volume. Everybody knows that $1 is a very important, psychological number. That's the only place I should have even been looking for a trade. And really, for a trade like this, I should have held it for my final target, because if this does what it's supposed to do, this could have been an absolute, this could have made my week. Really, if I would have got in with the size I know I was trading with, I held this all the way down here, I literally would not have had to trade for the rest of the week. I would have made an entire week's worth of money in, having patience. This is from, 10 o'clock. It looks like this is about 10 o'clock, and I would have to hold, all day. But, okay, who gives a shit? Just have patience, and I would literally have made a week's worth of money in one trade. But because I broke my rules, I can tell you right now that I am spread thin. I'm teaching students. I'm doing small cap trading, and I'm doing futures trading, which is going to also be a part of this video. But really, this is the only place that I should have been looking to trade. If it didn't hit $1, then have the discipline to walk away and not take a trade at all. So that horrible trade on that one. Let's see, that was the third. So I don't even have the fourth. So here, 1 second. I need to pause this and go to my trader view. All right, so this is the fourth. This is NVVE. This thing started, it didn't even have a gap. If you look at this, it's trading zero volume, and then out of nowhere, volume just starts coming in around 12 o'clock. So this thing starts popping up. I have a good read on it. I start seeing what I like to see. Starting to see weakness. I'm starting to see these doji candles. Volume is spiking up. It's got high volume, the highest volume of the day over this point. They're doing, a fake breakout. I'm like, okay, so I start scaling in. I got in smaller size, probably about half size in here. But once again, this is weakness, right? I don't want to be shorting on weakness. I want to be shorting as close as I can to this level because that is my risk level. Then I added on the front side. When you start seeing this long green candle, that's not what you want to be trading. You want to be back over here because this gives you confirmation that it's respecting this ceiling. It keeps you safe. I got in. I'm in it. Roughly 460s. Let's say 460 average. I didn't cover anything until 360, and then my final cover is down here like 320. You can think about whatever share size I had. I don't think it even shows on here, but that's a good ass move, right? So that's the first trade on the 4th. So I'm not going to go through all those because how my trader view is set up, it's into each entry and exit, and so it would take me forever to go through all those. I had a really good day on the 4th. I had one trade that I didn't do that great on. It was SSR, which means that you can't short on the bid. You have to short on the ask, which means you basically have to step in front of a moving train is how I describe it. And it didn't work out. I didn't have as much patience as I should have. But anyways, the other 3 trades I crushed it on. So then I came to the 5th. I'm trading a stock called BBAI. You look at this thing. This is like notoriously what I am super, super bad at. I get my ass kicked on grinders because I get so stubborn thinking that I'm going to be right. That my kickboxing coaches always say that if things didn't go right, I would always just try to force it harder and harder and harder. And I do the same thing in trading, and it's just part of my personality. And I'm really working on different ways to work on that. This thing pops up. It's up quite a bit. I don't have a bad trade on that, and I break it off, break even. Then this comes up. I take a trade here, and I'm holding it for my my first target. It doesn't hit. I start seeing this low, higher low, and like a fake breakdown of the VWAP. I cover, but then I instantly get back in because I'm like, no, dude, this is gonna fake me out, and it's gonna fade. I don't want to miss this trade, and there's a fake breakout of this level. I get in, and then I stopped out, where I was respecting my stop. Which is good. I am respecting my stop, but then I start shorting front side. There's no signal showing weakness. Like up in here, it has a long white candle, and then it's got red candles with wicks. That is showing weakness. You get in on over here once it has a ceiling. You get in on the back side of the move. I'm not saying get in full size. If you have edge showing that you should get in full size, that's where you would get in full size at. That's not what I did. And I'm short in front side. I take a stop. I don't get in where I should be getting in. I get in low. I'm looking for a lower high entry, which technically is not against the rules. That is correct. I take a small loss. I get in again. I give it a little bit more wiggle room, which I cut on again. I take another short, looking for a lower high on that. I take another cut. Like if you start looking at this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 cuts. Like, how many damn times you gotta be like, dude, this isn't working, to just like give up. Apparently, me, when I get spread thin and I'm tired and I'm just brain's just not there. This is like the worst thing in the world for me. I got my ass kicked on BBAI. Oops. Pause. Well, if you guys saw that, whatever. But the next trade I was trading was ACB. It was a gap and extension. I got in with a filler. I am top ticking this. This is at a whole $0.5 number, which is okay in my rules. The only problem is I added on weakness, which is not okay at all. Which means I had to stop out, break even in the area that I should have been really looking. That's one thing that I'm trying to figure out, because with futures, that's how I'm making a lot of money in futures, is because I'm adding to winners and I'm building my size up. And when I'm in the money, I can start adding big size, and when it starts working on futures, I'm killing it. But on small caps, I'm having a hard time figuring out the correct way to add size. This did not work over here. I stopped break even. It popped up again, and I'm taking filler on front side, which is not good at all. I took another, added some more size, covered some. I added on weakness, and I get covered. Break even, which is like honestly just shit. I should not be adding down here, because I hate this. This is what one of my old mentors used to always talk about, taking trades here. And for me, like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but only chumps take trades down there. Like, I am. So yes, I am calling myself a chump, because I should not be freaking taking a trade when this is the ceiling, right? This is clearly a floor. Why in the hell am I taking a trade to the floor? I'm just asking to get my ass kicked. And for me, I never liked it when I was in mentoring. I thought that it was a shitty ass place to try to take a trade, and I always enjoyed up here. It's more risky trying to catch the top, but if you I've made way more money trading up in here. I always get my ass kicked down here, and it's also because I'm not doing this right. Like, if I'm going to do this, this needs to fall a long ways away from here and then come up and then reject the level. All this is doing is falling under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. Like, it's just chopping the shit out of people, and it's not making any range. I want to see something that shoots up. I get it in, and then it fails. That's what I'm looking for. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't work, okay, it doesn't work. Then the next trade, the 6th. So I traded BBAI. This was, so actually I want to do this. All right, so this is my thought process. If you go over to the daily, this thing is up, right? So it gapped up. It's got a gap to close down here at $4. It's got another gap to close down here at like $5. This thing is all the way up here at $7.50. I took the trade on the second day. This thing pops over this high, does a fake breakout, and slams back down, right? So what I'm looking for is, like, I'm not saying that it's guaranteed to go back down here, but in my head, I was like, man, how cool would that be? I get in up here at 750 and this thing fades all the way down here. No, I don't have stats for all you fucking keyboard warriors out there that want to talk shit or whatever. No, I don't know. I wanted to hold this just in case. So on this trade, when I'm in on BBAI, I literally top ticked the shit out of this thing. Well, this is hindsight is always 20/20, right? This thing gets down to $7. I'm up over $1 on every single share. I should have covered half, and this is also a level to be looking for an entry. This is a key level. Well, like I said before in the previous chart, you get in on the first two. You don't get in on the third one. You sure the hell don't get in on the fourth one, right? So if you look at this is how I view it. this thing's got a ceiling, and it's rejecting the ceiling. It's got a ceiling here, it's got a ceiling there. It rejects, clear rejection on this one, and then it pops over, is consolidated on it, on top of the VWAP, on top of the first target and second target. I am clearly not being present at all, and I get in at literally the worst spot ever. I wanted to get in over here because this is a the way that I trade. This is a valid re-entry ad right here. It would have worked. I could have got in full size, cover half down here, get a whole dollar move on half size, add back half, get almost 50, 60 cents on another half size. This goes up. Honestly, it probably would either stop me out break even, or I'd be able to add another half, giving like possibly a little bit of my profits back. Even gets all the way back down here, right? It's got a low, it breaks the low, it makes another low. Okay, well now it's double bottoming at this low, and now it's making a higher low. Okay, that is your indication. Okay, dude, I think that the stock is starting to shift direction. It's not fading anymore, and I need to be careful and have your stop break even, or just trim it off in the money and just be done for the day. This thing pops up. With this ad and my absolutely beautiful ad up here, I stopped up break even, but then I jumped in instantly again. I started getting in big size. I take a cut, and then I got in again. Give it a little bit of wiggle room because I'm only in half size, and I slammed the bid down here, and I held it. I covered half down here because I learned from a mistake over here that this stock was being crazy as shit. It goes down, and then I started trading in after hours, but I was telling one of my students that, dude, I know there's a lot of freaking junkies that are trading in after hours, but there's no reason to be trading in after hours. It's super freaking volatile. It's super sketchy, and like you're gonna just waste a bunch of time. It's not worth your time. And when he messaged me, I literally entered this trade like 10 minutes earlier, and I was just like, dude, I'm so glad that you messaged me because I'm being an idiot. I need to get out of this trade, and so I covered instantly. This was a really good trade. I crushed it, and then on this stock as well, I absolutely destroyed the stock, right? So this thing pops up. It's another lower price stock. It doesn't have a gap. It's just trading on just shit volume, and all of a sudden it just rips, right? So it starts trading with good volume up in here. I'm not really paying attention because that's the first leg up. I want to see at least the second leg up. Okay, this thing breaks through. Cool. Now it's starting to find a top. Okay, well it failed all the way down here. I was like, okay, well if this sets up for a lower high, does like a fake breakout? I'll get in. This is what I'm talking about, not trading front side. This is probably one of the best trades of the week for me because I got in with very clear rules. Okay, dude, I got in half size. It had a lower high. I loaded the freaking boat, and I covered down here. And I covered right there, right at the end of the day. It was like 3 cents away from my final target, and I absolutely killed it on these. And then I went back to trading. Why is this? No, I need to get. Where are my trades from the 7th? 1 second. Alright, so I did not do. I didn't do my pictures, which is another thing I'm going to get into. This is going to be a little bit longer. I'm sorry for whoever's actually watching this, but I feel like this is worth it. And if nobody watches it, honestly, I don't give a shit because this is really good for me. So, I started trading BBAI. What I'm looking for is on the hourly. So, trend line. So what I was looking for is like, okay, so this thing had a high over here. It found a floor where it double bottom down here. I'm looking for at least right in here, up in here, or even a fake breakout of high of day. I didn't even get to take a crack at it up in here because I hit max loss already. what I did was, so I was worried because, like I said, I have it in my head that this thing might fail all the way down to $5, right? So this thing pops up at open, it gets to $7, it starts stuffing out. I got in, I loaded the fucking boat right here, but once again, like I said, VWAP, first target, second target, third target, fourth target, all in the same freaking area. That is a huge no go, dude. But I was like, well, I did keep a really really tight risk. I think I got out in like 3 cent risk, and then it started popping up here. This was 710 was a key level of resistance level. I think I got in here. I chopped up again. I got in at 750. Got chopped up again. This starts coming up. I start looking at. It's holding this. It's got a high. It double tops. Has a lower high. I got in here again. It held this and then squeezed, and I think that when this squeezed, I don't think I calculated how much size was actually in, and like the problem with this goes from 60 cents to like 85 cents, and when I was in with really big size, it kicked my ass. On top of that, I completely forgot about my trades on CYTH. I was super pissed off with this one because I was in literally top tick this thing at 150. But then I freaking chased it. I think I even added way low. I think I was like down 140s. And so then I got stopped out break even where I should have been entering at. This is a lower high level, and that's where I should have been getting in at. And then I was like, well, you know what? Shit. Hopefully this thing did a curl here. I was looking for this for another curl, possibly fake breakout, and then slam back down, and it never gave it. And I was just like, dude, you gotta be shitting me. So anyways, what the biggest problem I think is that I am also trading futures, and well, if you can't tell from here, it is quite the freaking learning curve. So I got funded. I'm with a prop trading firm called Top Step now, and I've had some pretty decent days already, and it's just crazy to me how much money you can make with futures. It is absolutely mind blowing how much money you can make with this, and it's taken up a lot of my attention. And my biggest problem is I feel like I'm very spread thin. So I have a full time job that I work. I'm trading futures, I'm trading small caps. I'm also coaching students and helping my students, and I'm really putting a lot of time and energy into my students because in my brain I want to make a foundation. I want to make a solid foundation of like 20 students where I make it cheap so that it's not going to cost them an arm and a leg like all these other guys are charging $150 a month. I charge them $50 a month, and I am putting in more time in one day than the price tag is worth for a whole month. But the reason I'm doing that is because I really truly believe that if I get 20 solid traders in my community, okay, cool. I'm not looking to have one of these rooms that has like 400 people. I don't want that. I want like, I don't know, maybe 50 maybe, and like have a very tight knit community of like solid traders, not these bullshit like junkies that are just gambling or aren't even trading, which is a pretty funny thing. Is like I've been seeing a lot of talk about people not even really trading, and so like I've been having a very difficult time because I started working with this trader on futures to try to get him a funded account. We came up with this whole idea of how to make money trading on futures, and I never traded futures. He just asked me for help because he's been following me for years, and he liked the way that I trade. He liked the way that I made these videos, and so we started working together. And I don't know. One day I was just like, you know what, dude? I understand. I learn by doing. I can read books and all that kind of shit, but like I really learn from actually being in it and trading, and so I did it, and I went and traded. One second. So I became a Top Step funded trader. I got a $50,000 trading account with Top Step, and I started to trade futures. Well, that added a lot of extra stuff to, I don't know, me, because futures are completely different than small caps. They don't play the same games, and yeah, you can make a shit ton of money with futures, but you can also lose everything, and that's exactly what I did. I think I made like $3,000 in 2 days, 3 days, and then I blew it all in one day. Then I went back in, I got a combine, I passed again, I got another funded account, and I damn near did the same thing. And then I kind of stopped. I was like, okay, what am I doing wrong? And for me, the thing that I'm doing wrong is I'm thinking too much about money, and the reason for that is what I'm going to show you guys next, which is this. So my students keep on saying that they don't use enough share size um, to make a lot of money, and I was like, that's bullshit, and I'm going to show you why it's bullshit. So I was using much bigger size, and then back in, I guess, the end of December, I started with small size. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to prove to you guys that I can make a good amount of money in a very short amount of time, and with very small size. So this, to be completely transparent, I'm using a maximum of 400 shares, which if you are in small caps is absolute nothing. 400 shares is nothing. I know dudes that get in with like their baby size is like 1,000 shares. I've also used a much higher share count before previously, which is what I truly believe that this was all about. Because when I started seeing my P&L, I just went from like really busting my ass and making decent, good chunks of money, that I got really impatient and I started just losing money. And I made a little bit, and then I started getting pissed off because I was like, man, for me, I want to hold this stock for a big move, like, because I'm using smaller size. I'm like, I'm so used to seeing these bigger numbers that when I see these little numbers, I just don't give a shit. The problem with that is, like, it. Well, this I start getting freaking max loss days, and then I start making good chunks of money, and it's like, okay, it's a really big struggle trying to go from using big size to small size. So I got my ass kicked for like 2 weeks or whatever, and then I finally pulled my head out of my ass, and my wife was like, dude, like, you are trying to prove to your students to stop being greedy and follow the process. And so I kind of had like a come to Jesus moment, and it started to, okay, I broke back even. Okay, I started making good gains, and then I start getting overconfident again. Goes down, I reel back in, overconfident again, and that's my biggest problem. It's like then I break over 1,000, break over 2,000, broke over 3,000, and then if you start looking up here, I'm doing it all over again, where I'm like up and down, up and down, up and down. And the reason for that is this is my max loss. I'm not risking a shit ton of money. I know this might sound crazy, and I don't give a shit about losing $350 in a day. I really don't, because I can make $600 days, and like, really, yeah, this is a good day. I did trade really good, but I really screwed up on these 2 days. I could have made way more money on these 2 days, and I don't know. It's just and like that. That's the other thing. I started really reeling this stuff in, and I started to make good money on Mondays and Tuesdays are my best days. Wednesdays and Thursdays, like, and this is my theory, is because like I get to rest on Saturdays and Sundays, right? Those are like family days. I don't do shit. I have a couple meetings. I meet with students and I start helping them out. But for the most part, I'm refreshed when it comes to Monday, and I'm like, okay, Adam, you just need to stay calm. You need to stay patient and just size in and not use crazy big size, which is also why I feel like I'm getting so many cuts, is because I don't give a shit about getting in with 200 shares or 400 shares. For me, okay, I can let that stock go a whole dollar against me and I don't care. But then it's like, that's what my wife kind of reminded me. She's like, it doesn't matter about the share size. What you're doing is you're teaching your students that you can make very good money with really small share size. This is no joke to me. I mean, okay, dude, like I made damn near $4,000 using tiny ass size. I want you guys to think about what you can do when you start trusting yourself enough to use big size. I am completely confident in using bigger size, but I started to talk to my students. I was like, I sent this video. It's by Brian Lee, and he talks about how the reason you can make money on small caps is because they're shit companies, and most of them are either shell companies or they really are just shit companies that are raising money. They do stupid stuff because they don't have any money, and because they're doing stupid stuff, it allows you an opportunity to make money if you can understand the game of small caps and you can capitalize on it. And you know, when I started understanding this a couple years ago, you know, I also bit off way more than I could chew. I got myself in a really financial bind, and I almost bankrupted myself. And I really had to like take a giant leap backwards, and that's why I moved back to Kentucky, is to do this and to get this to where it is, to where I can get myself out of debt. And I changed my mindset where it's like, I don't give a shit about having a Lamborghini. I don't give a shit about having a mansion. I have a full-time job that pays for all my bills. And then this, I'm making this on extra side money. I start throwing this money towards debt. I get out of debt. I pay off the cars. I don't have any credit card debt. Like, that is financial freedom. And that's what I'm trying to teach my students. Like, when I'm in these other rooms where these guys are like bragging about making, you know, $5,000-$10,000 a month or a day, and you know, they're crushing it. Well, what do you think that does to these other guys? It's screwing with their head, and they're like, oh my God, I suck. These other guys are making... Because that's exactly what happened to me. And when I started to really get materialistic, and I feel like it kind of corrupted my thought process. And for me, that's not what I'm trying to do with my community. I'm trying to grow this up, and I'm trying to nurture these guys. I'm like, dude, you don't need big share size. I am proving it to you. I am making almost five, which is what I started off saying, that I can get you to make $5,000 a month trading stocks. And then when I started reeling it back in, I was like, you know, I started asking all these guys, I was like, how much money are you guys making anyways? And literally, I talked to like 100 students, or not 100 students, 100 traders. Damn near, like almost none of them were making any money. And I was like, whoa, okay. Like, we don't need to even be worried about putting a price tag on things. You just need to get green, which means you need to end the month making money. And it really made me reevaluate things. I was like, I feel like I'm going about this all wrong. And, you know, at the very beginning, I wanted to start charging like $100 to $150 a month for my service. And I was like, dude, these guys don't have enough money to even freaking pay for subscription fees on things that you need to do your business. And that was another thing. None of these guys were thinking like a business. And I started talking to them. Your whole goal should be to get your $30,000 trading account. If you're in America, that's how much money you should have to start this account. You should get a $30,000 trading account. You should make sure that you have $5,000 in a high yield savings account. I opened an account with Open Bank. They're really good. They have, I think I get like 5% interest on my money. I just have the money sitting in there. I don't give a shit. That's there in case I ever do something stupid and I lose all my money. That's what you guys should do. Anybody that's actually made it this far, I'm giving you a gold nugget. You should be focused on staying in the game, not making a shit ton of money. And it's the same thing as anything. Like I wanted to start a kickboxing gym when I lived down in Florida. I was thinking about starting a pizza place. You don't collect money for years. So why in the hell do you think that you're going to come to trading stocks and you're going to make, a bunch of money really quick? I'll tell you why. Because there's these stupid ass gurus that are telling you a bunch of bullshit, and they start throwing out all these numbers. Well, the funniest thing is my old mentor threw out this shit saying that he was going to make turn $5,000 into $500,000. Well, he screwed up somehow, and it came out that he doesn't even freaking trade. He's full of shit. He doesn't make any damn money. And I'm like, dude, what in the hell? Like, I spent, like, no joke, I spent probably 10 grand on learning from this guy. I don't even know if he trades. Like, it could have been an honest mistake. I really don't have a freaking clue. And there was little things I noticed when I was in mentoring that I was like, man, I don't know if this is legit. I only use his community as a alert room because for me, I want to see where all these beginners are looking for trades because 99% of them have not made any money. So those are going to give you opportunities. And when I don't trade the way I've been trading like the last 2 weeks, thinking about money, I can capitalize on those opportunities really well. And that's what I'm trying to teach my students is to be patient and look for the clear signs, which I learned from the only guy that I really consider a true mentor is a guy named JJ Fade. And this dude taught me everything I freaking know, and he really taught me how to be a real legit trader. And I owe that guy a lot. But when I started getting into all this stuff, it started making me realize, I was like, man, these guys don't have a lot of money, but I'm not going to, like, in the very beginning, I started giving all my time and energy away for free. I'm not giving this shit away for free. My time is very valuable to me, and I'm getting way too busy right now. I have a few students I'm working with. I have my own futures account, and really, for me, I'm really starting to feel like I need to really focus on futures because I can make 10 times the money with futures. And no joke, in 2 weeks I made $8,000 with futures. It took me a freaking what was that, a month and a half to make just shy of $4,000. And the difference is when futures move, they make some crazy moves. And with Donald Trump in office, really, all it takes is one damn tweet or whatever the hell you want to call it nowadays, and this shit either shoots up or shoots down. I don't have any bias on it. I have no idea where the hell where the stock market is going, which is another thing I wanted to talk about. Is if you look at this stuff, where's it going? I have no freaking idea. This is all-time highs. Is it going to break over this? I am bullish on the stock market right now. I think that and this is where I got really screwed up was I thought that this was going to curl and then break and rip to all-time highs. So I did start buying the dip. It's the same thing that I teach in small caps. I use the same damn stuff, right? Start seeing that this thing found a ceiling right here. It started finding a floor right there. Well, then, it broke through the floor. It went all the way down here. So then that becomes invalid, right? Did a fake breakdown. Well, then it got bought back up. So I'm like, okay, that is the new floor. Well, look at that shit. It came right back down into the level, bounced out. Did it get all the way up here? No, it made a lower high. So for me, I started looking at this like, okay, well, where's it going to go? Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? I have no idea. Well, then when this thing happened, this made this invalid, right? Well, then it did find a bottom. It found a bottom right freaking there. And then it started bouncing and it broke over. Then it started finding another one. Well, then what happened? It broke through. It got bought back up. Okay, well, you buy in right here, risking down there. If you're using micros, you can get in with that kind of size, risking $50 and start scaling into your winners. That's exactly what I started doing. And when on Friday, I crushed it. I did a live video and I showed my students exactly what I did, because this thing, in my personal opinion, it's riding up, right? It's got this low. I'm looking, like, while I was looking at this, and then it just smashed through here and it found a bottom down here. I was like, okay, well, maybe this thing is going to respect this again. And so it had a fake breakout up here. I dropped down to the 5-minute chart. Where was I at? Yeah, so I was looking for this. I was buying the top, which is stupid. You don't buy the top. You buy down here where it's scary as shit. This is where you buy at, and you sell up here. Where everyone's getting greedy, you sell. Where everyone's scared out of the minds, you start buying. And I know that sounds super easy, but that's exactly what it is. Well, then I start getting chopped up in here. Why? Because I thought that this was going to possibly curl and go to the upside. Well, I was wrong. And this thing started to had a double bottom down here, right? Then a higher low, a higher low, a higher low. It did a fake breakdown of right here. And the second that this happened, I bought right there. And I started getting in with really, really big size. And then all of a sudden, I was like, dude, this thing is making what I call a distribution pattern on small caps. It's got a high, a lower high, a fake breakout of the low, and it slams back down, another fake breakout. And I was just like, this is either going to go higher or it's going to do this. Well, I'm in big size right here. This happened in literally seconds, because I dropped down to a 2-minute chart. I don't know if I have a 2-minute. I don't have a 2-minute, so we'll just stay on here. This shit, that screwed everything all up. My apologies. This happened in like literally seconds. The second that I saw, start seeing this, it broke out of this level. It already stuffed down on this candle, right? This happened in like 10 seconds. And that's what I was talking to my student about. When this slammed down, I reversed. I went short and I loaded the freaking boat, and this thing went down. I covered everything down here. I made like a $30 move in like I think I did it in like a minute. It's either a minute or 2 minutes. Yeah, it was in a 1-minute bar, because I covered at 60 to get down to 60. No, I didn't. It was the open of the second bar. So in 2 minutes, I made like $1,500, and it's crazy because you can't do that kind of. I mean, you can do that with small caps, but it's super freaking risky. And what I was looking at was this pattern, right? It's coming up. It's coming up. A third time, right? Remember how I said I don't do shit on the third time? I want to see this thing rip straight through and go towards all-time highs. Well, it didn't work, because I've been seeing this pattern over and over for like the last week. It rejects once, it rejects twice. The third time it rips straight through. It did not happen this time. And when this thing tanked, it was rough. I mean, look at that. It just ripped, and I got I loaded the boat right there, and I held it. And because I have 6 years of experience, I was able to switch to a different bias. I was able to be like, no, dude, you are wrong. The market is telling you you're really freaking wrong. If I want to switch, where would your stop be at? I mean, you would have lost your ass. So I'm trying to figure out the right way to go about things. Am I supposed to focus on small caps? Am I supposed to focus on futures? You know, I'm trying to help my students out, because really they're not just my students. They're really they're my friends. I really like these guys. Yeah, are they paying me money? Absolutely, they're paying me money. Why? Because I'm doing a damn job. And that's the other thing that like kind of pisses me off is like I don't know if it's just trading or if it's everybody, but like for me, if my friend has a business, I want to give my friend my money. If I'm going to spend the money anyways, I might as well give my friend money if they do a good job. If they don't do a good job, then yeah, like I'm not going to give you money just because you're my friend. You got to do a good job. If you do a good job, I'm going to give you. I'd rather pay you than pay a stranger. That's my thought process. For some reason, in trading, that's not how people do shit, and it absolutely drives me nuts. But, anyways, this is basically going to be my weekly recaps. I want to start going over these trades. Did I trade good this week? No, I didn't. I really didn't. I crushed it the last month or so, and all in small size. But I think that in my head, I was like, once I get to 5,000, I'm going to show my students how they should go about building up their business, how I went about doing it. You start off with $30,000. Okay, use 400 shares. You get to $35,000. Okay, well now you have a little bit of buffer room, and now you can use bigger size and raise your max loss. Because right now, I shouldn't have a max loss of $700 if I only have a $30,000 account, because it doesn't take a lot of mistakes, which is going to happen. Not every day is going to be a winner. You're going to lose on trades, and so you need to be strategic about it. You need to size up because your account is telling you to size up, not because some dipshit guru is telling you, "Oh, hey man, you earned the right to use 3,000 shares." Okay, well, wow, thanks, man. Like, piss off. Like, no, you're a freaking idiot. I'm not going to use 3,000 shares when I have a $5,000 buffer, because you drop below $25,000, you have to refund your account. You can't trade. That $30,000 is not the capital you get to use. It's the $5,000 that's over the $25,000. Your first goal should be getting that $30,000 to $35,000. Okay, add a little bit more size. Bring up your max loss, and now that allows you to start scaling your business quicker as long as you're trading good. You start trading bad, you drop back down to 30,000. Okay, that money you weren't acclimated to that money, and so now drop back down to 400 shares, build it back up, and that way you start safeguarding yourself. And when you start doing good, you can start scaling really freaking quick. You start getting up to $50,000. Okay, well now you're starting to use some big size, but you've also earned it. You've made yourself feel confident. It's the same thing with futures, which is where I screwed up, because I've had such success in small caps that I just thought that I could just start using crazy size. No, when I pass this combine again and I get my account, I need to start off with small size and start adding a padding to that and start being patient, which is the same exact thing that I'm trying to tell my students. But because I went to something different, it's almost like my brain clicked out of everything, and I'm breaking all my rules. It's like I'm starting all over again. And my wife, luckily, talked some sense into me, and so yeah, I'm going to start changing things up. And I think that these kind of things help me out a lot by talking. Whether anybody views this or not, it doesn't matter. If you guys are looking for somebody that's actually doing stuff that you can see, I'm completely transparent with my students. I tell them every day, hey, this is what I did, this is what I didn't do. I don't trade live, because it's really difficult because I have a full-time job. But then B, I'm not trying to make an alert room where you guys just follow me like a bunch of morons. You guys need to learn how to freaking do this shit on your own. Because, I might decide I start making so much freaking money in trading or with futures, I might not want to teach. I might just be like, hey, you guys have all been with me. I'm going to just make this room free. That way I don't feel like I'm obligated to do shit. And I don't know, like, I have no idea what the future holds for me. But what I do know is I'm not going to just like feed you guys like babies. And I'm not going to just, because nobody did that shit for me. You want to better your life, then get the hell up and do the damn work. Because nobody's here to just wipe your ass for the rest of your life. You want to have a good life, prove it, earn it. And for me, that's how you do it. You do this kind of stuff. That's why I ask my students. I'm like, I spent hours on the weekends reviewing stuff. Do you do that? Oh, you don't? That's why you're not profitable. You need to start. This is a job. This is a business, and you need to do this shit right. So, done with the rant. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please like, subscribe. Give me feedback. If you guys are interested in learning, I'm also starting to figure out how to swing trade for those of you that are a little bit busier and day trading doesn't feel like it's in your wheelhouse. I'm starting to learn small caps, futures, and how to swing trade. So I pretty much have everything covered. And yeah, ciao.